In the Lehigh Valley of eastern Pennsylvania, it's the CART Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix. Hello and welcome. I'm Paul Page. And the field now begins to pick up the pace as the pole sitter Bobby Rahal brings the Prix STT machine to the green flag. And they are running at Nazareth as Rahal moves quickly into the lead. From the back of the pack with Teo Fabi. He moved to the backup car because of problems he suffered with the car yesterday in the Marlboro Challenge and decided this was the better machine. And you're riding with him as he cuts his way up through the field. At the front of the run, it's Rahal, followed by Mears.
We saw Fabi make one position on the outside of turn 2. Rahal still leads, but now Fabi follows Randy Lewis.
So at the front of the field, there goes Rick Mears, pass in second place, and Tony Bettenhausen against the wall. Car up against the wall.
The first lap of races are critical because you've got to be so careful that the engine and the tires are warmed up. That's the problem with such high-speed corners on these first couple of laps. So Bettenhausen may have got in trouble. Here's a replay. We see Tony B's coming off at turn 3. There he is. He loses it on the way in. On the way into the corner, he's lost control. It's a long slide, almost keeps it out of the wall, and then bang, makes contact right there.
Looked like Guido Dacco also had to pitch it sideways to avoid Bettenhausen as they came around. And that gives you an idea of what can be so terribly costly here at Nazareth. There's a whole string of rather unusual incidents that include an accident last year that we'll talk about a little bit later. But as they line up under the caution flag, it's Bobby Rahal leading Rick Mears, and then Fittipaldi, teammate Danny Sullivan, Unser Jr., and Michael Andretti occupy 5th and 6th. We'll be right back. First pole in 39 months, long time, as he picks the pace up now. The yellow still flashing on the pole, but the green in the hands of Nick Finaro, the starter, and they're back and running at Nazareth. A very tight mile and a whirlwind. Boy, look at this group come into the corner. Unser Jr. and Andretti running together on the track now. This is the battle for the championship, and of course strong in Michael's mind is to try to get up and get to the front of this field, so he definitely has to get past his adversary directly in front of him.
Look at Michael go around the outside of Al Jr., trying to make it around the outside. Very, very brave move, but he didn't make it.
This is where you talk about the psychological advantage. On one hand, Derek Daly, little Al must be careful, and on the other hand, Michael has no choice but to be brave.
Michael has to be brave. He has to take the extra chance because he must win this race. But Al Jr. knows that, and he also knows that he must finish. So Al Jr. cannot really be very brave trying to keep Michael back here.
Consider the variety in lines as now Unser Jr. overhauls Danny Sullivan for 4th place and puts Sullivan between him and Michael Andretti. Mario Andretti is lined up just behind Michael.
That's the type of thing he needs. There's such different strategies can be played here. Now look at Michael. Watch Al Jr. get away. He has to get by Sullivan, come down the inside, but Sullivan chops down and takes the line. And look what happens. Michael loses about 6 or 7 car lengths.
And we talk so often, there's the front of the field. That's Bobby Rahal and Mears just behind him. You can see they're already overhauling traffic. Gives you an idea how fast and furious this course is. And boy, look at the group that they now have to deal with just ahead of them.
Now look what happens. Rahal got into the traffic and backed off just a little bit. Look at the turbulence of Rahal's helmet. You see the way it gets knocked around side to side. But we saw Rahal back off ever so slightly, and Mears closed about 4 car lengths instantly. So traffic, as Rahal said earlier on, could be a major, major factor in the race.
That's Bosell in the True Sports entry just ahead. He's running in 14th place. Now Rahal closes in, picks up the pace, tries to get in. You can see Fittipaldi is trying Rick Mears at the same time. First, second, and third running right together as they try to overhaul Bosell.
Of course, the lead driver hopes the driver ahead moves over, lets him through, and the driver who's second, like Mears in this situation, hopes that Rahal gets held up, and he takes advantage. But this is what makes Nazareth so exciting. So many cars at high speed running together all the time.
Everybody moves out trying to find position as Rahal ducks under Scott Goodyear. And
here they are still locked in this battle. Now, whenever the Andretti's make a move, everybody in the grandstands here stands up because these are the hometown favorites. These are the only people that are important to the local fans here on the racetrack.
We would have expected Michael to try and charge for the front faster than he actually has. Perhaps we can get an update from Gary Gerald.
Paul, initial reports from the crews for both Michael and Mario Andretti indicate that both cars are very, very loose. They've backed off a bit behind in the chase of Sullivan. The turbulence, loose, was a problem for everybody yesterday. They supposedly compensated on their setups today, but it's a problem for them here in the very early going.
Now the question would be, though, Have they compromised the handling for longevity in the run? Will they handle better as they go? As we take a look at Mario trying, Michael, and Luyendyk tries as well.
I think Michael is slowing Mario just a little bit, but what do you do? I mean, do you pass your son and try and put him back down a position into trouble when you know he's chasing the championship? But Mario has been able to close up on Michael, and it looks to me as if he's anxious to get by. But what do you do when it's your son that's out there?
31 miles are complete in this 200-mile run. Of course, the other point is that not only are we teammates, it's a family, and they're right here in the hometown, so a difficult situation for both of the Andrettis at the moment. But could Mario help Michael by staying back behind him and help push him through some of the traffic?
Well, I don't know, but the problem Mario has now is Ari Luyendyk is absolutely all over him. So not only does he have to try and protect Michael, he's got to protect his own position. But look at Mario down the inside. Will he make it? Will he make it?
And look just behind them as Michael makes the try to the outside, tries to hang on the upper edge of the course, but Luyendyk ducks down to the inside of Michael Andretti, and there's the nose of Luyendyk coming by. So Luyendyk comes up a position as he's on the fly. And don't ignore in this fight the fact that Roberto Guerrero is just behind in his best start this year, and he's in this fight as well.
Look at Danny Sullivan side by side with Mario here, but look at Luyendyk. Sullivan looks as if he's losing positions, but there's Roberto Guerrero having one of the best runs he's had.
And Guerrero comes up to challenge with Michael Andretti now. Now, if this looks like a whirlwind to you, let me tell you, it's exactly the same to the drivers. They're around this track so very quickly. Very difficult to keep track of all of the traffic, and the drivers dart and move and just try to find the only clean air that they can. Indications are that they may in fact be calling Michael Andretti in any time now. It would be very premature. 35 miles are gone at this moment.
Pennsylvania, they made an engine change because this is the car they ran in the Marlboro Challenge yesterday. So they made the change last night, had him out at daylight this morning. He was running laps somewhere around 80 miles an hour on about a half-mile oval, we understand, that has slope to it and hills, but they checked it out. They liked it. Emerson obviously doing well in the early stages after an early morning test session.
So typical of the Penske organization, as now Fittipaldi climbs all over the back of second place, his teammate Rick Mears. In fact, I was wondering why, look at Rick as he tries inside of Rahal. I was wondering why Michael Andretti, when they did the engine change, didn't try the same idea of taking the car away to test it. Fittipaldi tries getting inside Rick once again. It doesn't work.
I would have to say Emerson looks like the strongest car out there right now. He's able to pull up behind Rick, duck out right or left, wherever it takes. He's not going to make any dangerous moves or make any daring moves. Look at Rick coming down the inside of Rahal.
Rick Mears comes inside Bobby Rahal as they come past the pit entrance, and Rick Mears picks up the lead as he tries to hold on to it. Here comes Fittipaldi past. Fittipaldi tries Rahal as well. He can't get the job done, though. Rick Mears picks up the lead. The winner in yesterday's World Challenge is out in front now.
This is what happened yesterday. Rick just waits and waits and waits and stalks his prey and then pounces. Look at Fittipaldi. The same move down the inside of Rahal.
And Fittipaldi moves into second place now. So Rahal, in just the space of 2 miles, drops back 2 positions. Then they decide to come into the pits, as does Bobby Rahal. That's Fittipaldi rolling in just ahead. Here's Lynn St. James.
Bobby Rahal has just made his first pit stop. He gets a drink mix combination that his crew prepares for him. It is hot today, and they want to make sure they get all that precious fuel in. There's been no change, no chassis change on the car. Screams back out. Okay,
Rahal.
Gary.
And a 14-second stop for Emerson Fittipaldi, who beats Rahal out, and he is gone with what appeared to be routine service. The defending champion, a man who finished second in the Marlboro Challenge here yesterday, Paul.
Let's go to Gary Gerald as Rick Mears stops.
And Rick Mears, the last of the Penske cars in for first service. Everything looking good here. Don't see any changes front or back wings. Taking a look now as Richard Buck in the right front holds his driver. The fueling is now complete. Mears is away. This is a terrific stop on our clock at just over 11 seconds.
Penske service, it's tough to beat as Mears back into the fight, but Emerson Fittipaldi picked up the lead of the run as Mears made his stop. Ari Luyendyk is now up in third place. So at the front of the field, well, we're seeing the masters of the ovals once again. Fittipaldi has certainly become one. Mears, without question, is. We'll be back with more from Nazareth.
Put it down. Remember, he's got to go through all those gear changes as he's exiting the pits. As soon as he gets a high enough gear, then he flipped it down.
Back watching at the front of the field, Emerson Fittipaldi works his way under Mario Andretti, very close together. Wow.
Whoa, Scott Brayton, I don't think he saw Mario down inside him, actually made a turn down and almost almost too late. They touched wheels. They didn't quite make it, and Brayton moved away, but a very, very close call for Mario.
Sponsors on ESPN. Goodyear will be sending a check for $1,000 to Cara, the championship auto racing auxiliary. And look at the battle between Rahal and Rick Mears as Rahal comes around Mears and picks up second place.
Rahal was way to the outside of the high line, which can be the faster line. Rick was way down low and had to pinch the corner, come out of the power. We saw Rahal chop down and boom, immediately pulled about 6 car lengths.
So we're under caution. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
And Michael Andretti has taken advantage of the yellow to come in. His words on the radio, Paul, he says this car wants to spin in every turn. They've changed the wing again. They were going to go another 1.5 turns, 14.5 seconds, and he's out. They say the handling characteristics may be the worst of it any time this season on that car right now. That's what they're trying to correct.
Yellow light winked on just a few seconds ago. The report is that there is some debris on the racetrack, and while they clean that up, they bottle the crew up behind Johnny Rutherford in the PPG pace car. Young race driver as Fittipaldi picks up the pace. Good chance for Mike to really learn something about running on the ovals. The green flag is out again, and Fittipaldi begins to pull away from the rest of the field, maintaining his lead over Bobby Rahal.
Of course, Mike Groff, we've seen him win many races on ESPN, but he's in heavier company than he's ever been in before right here as he runs behind Emerson, and the whole pack are snarling down behind him trying to catch him.
The fight between Little Al, Rahal. Of course, not a fight on the circuit itself. Little Al just sits there keeping track of this battle, but Rahal and Rick Mears definitely in the fight. Back at Nazareth, as against the wall, it's Al Unser Jr. Al Unser Jr. tangles with Arie Luyendyk. Danny Sullivan stomps down on the brakes, and the championship is up for grabs once again as Al Unser Jr. into the wall. Both cars tangling hard, debris all over the track, and the yellow is out.
This is where they break at the end of that long back stretch, or that short back stretch. They got together. Both cars are heavily in the wall. Al Jr. still in that car, very shaken.
Ahead as they try to clean up the track. Let's go back and try and re-examine this accident again, Eric.
This is the end of the backstretch. Look what happened. Oh, it started with Sullivan and Luyendyk, and they wrapped up Al Jr. Look at the two cars go backwards. Very hard contact. Look at the flames from the magnesium. That's the wheels and the uprights. But Al Jr. looks like an innocent victim of an accident between Sullivan and Arie Luyendyk.
Well, that gives you a great deal more information as you see that the real cause was Sullivan down low and Luyendyk trying to pass him. Now you take a look on board, the same situation with Al Unser Jr. Now everything is happening behind him.
My word, have you ever heard audio from an in-car camera as dramatic as that? And look at Al Jr. puts his hand out of the cockpit in total disbelief. Here's a
pace now begins to pick up as we anticipate the green flag. Rutherford takes the pace car off the track. The green comes out, and we're racing once again in now what should be a run to the finish with 131 miles of the 200 complete.
Rick moves inside Fabi. Rahal tries to do the same thing. Door gets closed, can't quite make it. Rick and Rahal have raced wheel to wheel all afternoon. Rahal is now in third place, but even if second was the best he could do and make it 6 second places this year, he'd want to take it.
Rick Mears got a superlative restart. He's very good at it. He talks about the pacing necessary to come back successfully on a restart from a caution period. Well, there you see the mastery of it. He was directly behind the pace car and now begins to separate himself from second place Bobby Rahal, or third place Bobby Rahal. Fourth place is Mario Andretti. Michael runs in fifth place. The leader, of course, still Fittipaldi, a lap out in front.
Of course, there are.
You're watching the kart safety team as they work with the rescue of Michael Greenfield just on the edge of the racetrack at turn 1 at Nazareth, Pennsylvania International Raceway. He was running in 13th place when suddenly lost control, slammed into the wall, and now the safety team must cut the race car out from about him. He's still in the car, but of course there's a doctor right there, and they keep very close track of the race driver. There's an expert in extrication, in fact several, in rescue. As you see them there working with the car. No longer do we just grab the driver and snatch him out of the car. More often than not, they hurt him more taking him out. They take their time. There's a replay once again, Derek. catch it right at the end, though.
It looks as if the right front suspension and wheel, when it broke off, it looks as if it has actually penetrated the cockpit area, because we could clearly see the foot box on the front of the car was in good condition. It did not look heavily damaged, but they are down there.
Nick Finaro, the starter, has the green flag in hand. We're out. We're running again. Mears starts his pursuit of teammate Fittipaldi. They will stay teammates next season, though the cars will be identical. Other objectives, Rahal must close up, and Michael Andretti has to close at least 2 miles on the leader, get back on the leader lap, and move into second place. There's Teresa Fittipaldi as she cheers Emerson on and around this track. It's been very good to him. Will it give him a win here today? It gave him a championship last year.
That he's confident in the handling of his car. Mears again closes down. Now he's only about 4 car lengths behind.
This is the only fight on the track at the moment. Mears trying to catch teammate Fittipaldi for the lead. Bobby Rahal is third. Again, they come inside Guido Dacco. Did we just see that?
Look,
that give you an idea how fast they're going?
That gives you an idea how important it is for Dacco to stay away. But you see what Emerson did when he moved down inside Dacco? He daren't move back up with the high group, because Rick could have come down the inside. He stayed down low and protected that lead that he has. If Emerson gets away, it's so hard in clean air to run him down. He's got to take
yellow flag. Yellow flag comes out. No immediate indication as to the reason for the yellow, but with 14 laps to go, 14 miles to go in this 200-mile run, the yellow flag comes out again, and that will help make a race of it. Frustrating. And Rick Mears is sitting in third. Then Mario, then Scotty, then Rahal as the pace now begins to pick up, and Fittipaldi will take them back to a green flag. They flash across the line with 191 miles complete.
Okay, Mears gets by Groff very, very quickly. His only chance now is to run Emerson down absolutely flat out. But I think Emerson, from what he has shown earlier on, has the speed to handle Mears. There's no traffic in front of Emerson, so he had the clear run. Let's be interested to see whether Mears was holding anything back.
I learned a great deal from John Cock, because they ran to the finish, John Cock beating him when Rick Mears was alongside him as they took the white flag together. So now, what has Rick Mears learned? Can he catch and pass Fittipaldi? Traffic, Guido Dacco just ahead.
I didn't think we'd catch traffic this fast, but such is the pace of the 2 leading Penske's. They're right in the middle of this freeway traffic again. But Rick is definitely faster through turn 2 than Emerson. This is turn 2 here. Rick is the faster car.
4 miles to go now for Mears and Fittipaldi as they battle at the front of the field. And again, it stretches out. Scott Goodyear now lies in front of them. Goodyear runs in 9th place.
Goodyear needs to move over, let the leaders through. He lets Emerson through, back out of it. He lets Rick Mears through, down through the kink. This is turn 2. This is Rick's favorite corner.
3 laps to go. The fight continues. Mears chasing Fittipaldi.
Oh, he did catch him again. 2 more car lengths. That's the way he's going to do it.
So Rick Mears knows how and where it can be done. All that must be done is get past Fittipaldi. 2 laps to go.
Turn 2, he takes the high line.
Mears tries the high, tries to keep the momentum going. He's tucked under the wing of Fittipaldi.
Look at Fittipaldi.
Tucked right there.
He moves down to protect the inside line, but Mears is all over him like a hot rash.
Fittipaldi with the white flag out. 1 lap to go for both. Tries to hold off Mears. The move will come in turn 2. They come off that corner. They head for the backstretch. Mears comes plenty wide off the corner, trying to keep the momentum moving, but it stretches out a bit as Fittipaldi pulls away. Now coming toward the checkered flag, it's Fittipaldi in front. Mears still trying to catch him, still moves high. He doesn't give up to the finish, but it's over. Fittipaldi has won by 34 hundredths of a second over Rick Mears. Fittipaldi finally scores a victory in 1990 at the very track that gave him his championship.
Talk about having to earn your victory the hard way in the last 10 or 12 laps. Emerson had to do everything possible that he knew to try and keep Rick at bay.
And with that finish, Al Unser Jr. is the 1990 kart champion. His first championship, and the first championship for the 2nd generation.